All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Final Four weekend here in Biddy Brackets. It was an interesting week last week. Um, I rolled out the different brackets, the Bears, the Cats on one side, the Birds and the Dogs on the other side. And it turns out that as the week concluded with the men and women's games, that the only team on the Bear Cat side was the North Carolina Tar Heels. So if you chose that bracket, either one of those brackets, the Bears or the Cats, this weekend, your only hope is North Carolina Tar Heels advancing. Over on the other side of the bracket, or I like to say the other side of the aisle, you had the Birds and the Dogs. And two birds advanced. You had the men's South Carolina Gamecocks advancing. You had the women's South Carolina Gamecocks advancing. And then for the dogs, if you chose the dog bracket, you were golden because it was a clean sweep. All four dogs advanced. You had the men's dogs, the Gonzaga Bulldogs. You had the underdog Oregon advancing. You had in the women's, you had the Yukon Huskies advancing, and the Mississippi State Bulldogs advancing. So if you chose the dogs to win it all, you look pretty good right now. Or the Birds. I chose the Birds. So initially I had Kansas, but since I picked the Birds to win, I picked Birds over Cats. So once Kansas lost and they were eliminated, I still had my hopes with South Carolina. So I'm still in the mix here. I'm still rooting for the men's Gamecocks to win the whole thing. Today's matchups, since I didn't get on here yesterday, I was working, but the women's Final Four is complete. Just to let you know, the Huskies they actually lost. So I'm wearing this just for more moral support, I guess, morale booster to all those Huskies fans that saw their 112 winning game just evaporate in front of their eyes. They've won 111 games and they lost one game. So congrats for that streak of 111 straight. That's impressive. And I really liked what Coach Gino had said after the game, that what they had done, this is not normal. So don't get all high and falutin about how good you are and everything. This was a very rare case, and this is life. You do lose sometimes. So it was a really good. If you want to go back, maybe I'll find it and I'll post it here in the playlist. But it was a great speech that he gave after the game. Great job by Mississippi State. We finally had another buzzer beater. We had one with Wisconsin and Florida on the men's side earlier, and this one was something else. It went into overtime, and then this girl drained a two pointer on the last play of the game. So congrats to the Bulldogs. The Mississippi State Bulldogs will face the South Carolina Gamecocks on the women's side of things. Earlier in the day, South Carolina took care of, who did they play? I had it here somewhere. South Carolina. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. It was South Carolina. Oh, and Stanford. And I was hoping Stanford would win just because there's a girl on Stanford and her sister's on Yukon, and if the sisters would have been able to play in the matchup at the end, that would have been cool. But yeah, Stanford's done. On the men's side today, I'm hoping that another Pac-12 team is done because I cannot stand Oregon. I'm a Huskies fan, Washington Huskies fan since 1982. So, congrats Oregon for getting to the Final Four. I'll give you props, but I hope that North Carolina beats the bricks off of you. And then the other game, the game that's coming up first is South Carolina versus Gonzaga. And all my marbles, all my chips are pushed into the table on the South Carolina Gamecocks winning, so that my birds can win. My bird bracket can stay alive. And for the women, I'm gonna go with the Mississippi State. I'm gonna stay on that side of the aisle. The Bird Dogs. So I'm going for Mississippi State, and I'm going for South Carolina. So the men's Final Four that's going on in a couple hours. Just to give you a breakdown too, what did I was gonna assign points to see not only who wins the overall thing. But towards the end here, when the men and the women have a champion, to see which one accumulated the most points, to see who I can name like the champion between the men and the women. So what I did was I gave 2 points to every winner of the Elite Eight, and then you got an and 1 point, an extra point if you not only won your game, but you had the largest point margin of all the teams in your bracket. So the winner of the and 1, the 3 points in the birds bracket, was the South Carolina men. They won by more points than the ladies did. And then the dogs, you had UConn, which it was funny going into that game. UConn needed to win by 25 points or more to get the and 1, the extra point, and they did. They won by like 30 more points or something like that than the other team. So UConn in the last round, they actually got their and 1 point, so they finished with 3 points. So congrats. But it doesn't do you much good now that you're not continuing to play. So UConn won the and 1, but you still have Gonzaga, Oregon, and Mississippi State representing the dogs. So we'll see how that turns out. We'll see which one of those is the top dog. Then in the for the Bears, North Carolina, they got their 2 points. They didn't have anybody else make it in their bracket, so they got 2 points. And Stanford for the Cats, they got 2 points. But now they're done too. So so basically you have, like I mentioned before, you have 1 Bear, North Carolina Tar Heels. You have no Cats. You have 2 Birds, South Carolina, men and women. And then you have 4 dogs. So if you're just jumping into this right now, I'd say either choose the Bears against the field, choose North Carolina Tar Heels, and ride out with your Bears. Sorry, don't pick Cats because there's no cats left. And then if you like South Carolina sports, go for the Birds. I mean, that's the team I'm going for, just because I picked the Bird bracket. So go Gamecocks. That's what I don't have any Gamecock gear, otherwise I'd be wearing it. And then for the dogs, right now you're looking pretty sweet. There's 3 dogs left. You got Gonzaga, Oregon, and Mississippi State. So it's not too late to jump in, pick a bracket, and see how you do. I'm going to get back on here. I told you last time the wrong day because work kind of smacked me in the face. I've been covering this guy's route, and it's a really big route, or it takes a lot of time. So I will get back on here at the end of maybe even like I'll just say, gosh, well, it's gonna have to be because they're gonna have the women's championship tomorrow, I think, and then the men's on Monday or Tuesday. So I'll get back on here this weekend and let you guys know, give you a preview of the final the championship games. All right, enjoy these next 2 games. You have Gonzaga going up against South Carolina in about an hour, and then right after that, you're going to have North Carolina, Oregon. Take care.